There you go. Excellent bit of Lee binding cover for season 20 Blu-ray. Even though it's got Arc of Infinity on it, still well worth it. Who's this? Sounds Myth Prod. So go and check them out. There's a nice bit of artwork. Way too good for Arc of Infinity. Okay. Way too good for Arc of Infinity. So yeah, look, Eric Saywood, when he's happy, is a great writer, right? Eric Saywood, like doing what's that one he did? The Terrapolo one. God, hang on. Doctor Who episode guide. Doink. Hang on. We'll go for Fifth Doctor. Visitation. The Visitation. Yeah, fantastic. Eric Saywood when he's happy, fan-freaking-tastic. Eric Saywood when he's exasperated, near to useless, right? Absolutely functionless. Here. So let me pull out this clip right from the beginning of the making of. Wait for it to open up. Come on, bro. There you go. Doink. Yeah, I mean that's essentially what killed the Colin Baker run, is that he didn't like the casting Colin Baker and couldn't make it work in his head. So the thing is, John Nathan Turner gave him a laundry list of things to put in this story: Amsterdam and Return of Omega, and they couldn't do it essentially, right? And here, look, this is him talking about it, and you hear his exasperation.
John just came in and said, I want to film abroad, was the first thing he said. And then he said, I want to film in Amsterdam. And there really was no rhyme or reason. We didn't
we
didn't have reason to go there. And I thought that was really rather silly.
Yeah, he gets more graphic about it as it goes on. But so he gives it to Johnny Byrne. Johnny Byrne, again, good writer, as long as he's given his own... He's not a writer, and I think this was a generation of writers that couldn't be handed laundry lists, right? They just couldn't do it, right? And so they couldn't come... and also Tegan's Return, right? It was supposed to be like a mini cliffhanger. Tegan left at the end of Time Flight. Bloody hell, Time Flight to Arc of Infinity. What a shit pair of stories that is. Oh, man. He gave it to Johnny Byrne, and there's a bunch of interesting concepts in there. I really gave him Johnny Byrne because he's a seasoned sci-fi author. He's done Space 1999. He figured he could just Eric said he could give it to him and he could work it out, right? Well, he couldn't, right? Unfortunately, he couldn't. He couldn't work out. So he had to rely on coincidence, like. But it starts off. You have the least convincing people, perhaps ever in Doctor Who. These two backpackers looking for a place to stay, and it's I pray the guy playing one of them turns out to be Tegan's nephew or something. I pray that he was John Nathan Turner was fucking him, right? I absolutely pray John Nathan, because otherwise, Alistair Cumming. Well, I hope he made John Nathan Turner becoming as well, because there's no other way of justifying his casting. These two are like the worst actors I've made. So yeah, you dumped into this thing cold with a terrible writing, terrible casting, terrible acting. Yeah. Starts off, you have the whole Gallifrey plot doesn't work. They're wearing these like insanely heavy Gallifreyan headdresses, and because they just don't know what they're doing with this story in any way, shape, or form. Right? Absolutely, have no idea what they're doing. There's actually quite a good Big Finish story called The Waters of Amsterdam, which deals with the history of Amsterdam, which is if you're going to film in Amsterdam, first thing you do is you look at the history of Amsterdam. They could have tied it into Rembrandt, and maybe Omega could be in a painting by Rembrandt, and they're like, but essentially they just use Amsterdam as corridors, as a place to run up and down, right? Which is what they use Gallifrey for as well. So you start off, you have zero mystery, right? That you have this I think very well designed looking villain with Omega, right? You don't know it's Omega to the end of part 3, although I guess pretty early on. First time I watched it again, and he comes with a lot of stick. The design is good, right? But when he moves, not so good. And my God, his fearsome monster, the E-Ragon. Oh, me. A great idea and concept. Just realization, not so good, right? Not so good. It's like, imagine if you meet up with, what's her name? Megan Fox, right? Megan Fox. Even today, I'm saying not even young Megan Fox, and you're in bed with her, and she wants to put a finger up your ass, right? That's the sort of thing, right? Is this a good thing or a bad thing? Oh no, it's very bad, but you can be easily seduced into it. Anyway, look, this is an epically bad story, and I need somebody else to take the brunt, the warm spasms of displeasure that I had from watching this story, which had a few good bits to it. Who can I get to join me in this quest to analyze this piece of shit and the rest of Doctor Who in general? Somebody of incredible resilience and backbone. Of course, it is the man with royal blood. It is Dan Hadley, King of the Geeks. Birmingham King of the Geeks. How you doing, sir?
I'm okay. I mean, I was just thinking your description there of Arc of Infinity, a fine idea in principle, but in practice, not so much. It describes Birmingham to a T.
Never been. Oh, I've been there. I've been there once. Man, it's so bad. It's so. Here, let me just give you a little brief hit of like you haven't watched it on your season 20 Blu-ray yet, right? I take it.
No, I haven't. No.
There's a reason I started with the snake dance, which is freaking brilliant, right?
Yeah.
This is. Here, 1 second. Let me just try and get to the. Yeah, you have this weird pair, right? Played by the 2 worst actors in the entire world, right? With the most insanely weird voices. Especially, this guy is clearly a gay rapist. So, okay, I've lost my passport. But I know where we can stay. And he takes him to like a crypt. Let me get. Where is it?
It is very strange.
It's like, look, to John Nathan Turner going at like, hey Eric, I got a great idea. I want you to set a story in a men's public bathroom. Why? Just people hang out there. No reason. Set it in 1973. No reason. Right? It's like a normal thing to do. These two are the worst. Yeah, that acting was actually one of their better points. So then, they're in the set, right? Yeah. And oh god, and we have Gallifrey acting as well. Fuck me, it's awful. Look, he said, "Oh, this guy is definitely wants to rape him." Listen,
are you really going to sleep like that?
What's the matter with that?
You're still fully dressed.
I'm not.
Yes, better take off all your clothes and maybe Vaseline your ass. No reason. It's just like, again, these two are the worst ever. So anyway, in the middle of the night, a TARDIS turns up in the crypt, and out comes a fearsome monster.
It's that bloke from Aha.
Oh man, that would be so much better. We get a better clip of a better view of it, I think, in a second. And again, good idea, terribly realized. Yeah, it doesn't get much better than that, mate. It doesn't get much better than that.
It looks like a bloke who's just walked into one of those places where they bleach your anus for the first time.
It really does look like that, and the space chicken's even worse. Anyway, it's
you see, I adore this era, to be honest, mate. And
I love the era. This story is shit.
Well, I love Arc of Infinity, I truly do. But having said that, I do. I love it.
What do you like about it?
All of it. I absolutely love it. All the Davison stuff, with the exception of Fort of Doomsday, which I'm actually coming around to that now. Every single story from this era, I love it. It's not that I don't see the pitfalls, and I've always thought those two actors were horrendous, but I just love it.
The plot was incomprehensible and boring. The design was bad. The Colin Baker was great, right? The Colin Baker was fantastic. The Maxwell show, anytime he's on screen, it was very, very good. At the end, Omega needs to bond with the Doctor so he can come through to the matter world, and he's just like a doofus, right? Oh, but when he finally does, he takes over. He's a duplicate of Peter Davison, and he has this really weird, like, I don't know, pedophile bit. Here, let me find this, where he's smiling at a kid. Oh, so disturbing.
Well, I think the idea is that he's sharing his own childlike wonder at the puppet show with the child, because he feels like a child.
Yes, that's the idea. Now let's look at the realization of it, which is so scarily bad it's beyond belief. I mean, like, this is definitely from the Jimmy Savile score. Here a second. Don't smile at a guy like that, okay? Run! Yeah, I understand. He's rediscovering humanity. It failed horribly. Oh my God! Right, the story is incomprehensible.
It was a more innocent age.
Michael Gough in it, totally wasted. Like, why can't he play the toy maker? He plays the warm, avuncular Time Lord who's nice to the Doctor. Clearly, he's a villain, right? You can work out right from the beginning he's a villain. And then so Peter Davison is Omega is a copy of Peter Davison, and they go running up and down Amsterdam for a bit, and then he gets like green Rice Krispies on his face, and when he has enough Rice Krispies on his face, he's then obviously played by a different actor who then wants to kill himself, and the Doctor shoots him at the end. Yeah,
he's played by a stuntman for the bits where he's going to have to fall over and stuff like that.
Right. In Collier, I think. And the whole, like, Tegan just turning up coincidentally. No, again, the problem is Eric Saywood could not work out how to make this work, how to make this laundry list of Amsterdam. Like, look, John Nathan Turner did the Paris shoot. He knew he could do it. It was doing good for him, and it was good for morale. So that's basically why he said, let's do Amsterdam, right? And with Omega. And Eric Saywood just was like, well, what the fuck? That makes no sense. It's your job to make a story to make it make sense. Right, there's a lot. I think they could have really used Rembrandt in this. It was very connected to Amsterdam, and like there maybe was some painting of Omega that he did, right? That has trans-temporal. Like, and this is just off the top of my fucking head, right? This is not hard.
Well, all Tegan really needed to be doing was to be on holiday in Amsterdam at the same time. But the stuff with the boy, the stuff with the cousin is it's ridiculous.
Again. There's a few smatterings of gold, but it's sprinkled into an unwatchable turd, right? It absolutely is. And it's not like this is a story I'm never ever going to revisit. Weirdly enough, though, right?
I watch it all the time.
Well,
I watch this all the time.
Like, I had to start watching Mordred Undead to wash this off. Right? It was so bad. It was Mordred Undead, freaking awesome. Although the incidental music when they're like happily stealing the Brigadier's car is a bit shit. Anyway, I digress. We're just stealing a car, about to have a near-death experience because we're going to die. Okay, everything's fine, right? Everything's fine. But look, I also think I like the special edition, the new effects of Mordred Undead. So on the disc you also have Behind the Sofa. So like where you have Colin Baker and Sylvester McCoy in one group, Mark Strickson, Sarah Sutton, Janet Fielding, and Peter Davis in another group, and Sophie Aldred and Katie Manning. they're a great pairing, right? They are a really great pairing, Sophie. I want to see a detective show with Sophie Alder and Katie Manning. Just the more of them together, they're really fascinating together, right? But here's the thing, because none of them really like Doctor Who, they all say, oh, that was quite good. No, it fucking wasn't. In any universe, that wasn't any good at all. They got the, what else is there? They got the making of from the DVD. They got a couple of interesting little inferior. They got about 20 minutes of him on Saturday Superstore with, who was the name of the guy who hosted Saturday Superstore? Do you remember?
Mike Reed. Mike Reed, his name was, yeah.
Oh, it was Mike Reed. Okay, so that's quite interesting. They got a weird clip of him doing Panto. And I wonder if this was written by John Nathan Turner on the Russell Harty Christmas extravaganza. And they got like a 20-second clip of him stopping into the Captain Zepp set, which was actually, nice. That was a level of conspiracy in this, in the Gallifrey part, the Captain Zepp level. And why they've never re-released Captain Zepp on Blu-ray. What a mystery to me, right? What an absolute mystery. So yeah, listen. Oh, this was painful for me. You like it though, so tell me what you like about it.
It's completely and utterly subjective. It's my I can't be objective about this era at all. It's all those memories of growing up watching these stories. I anticipated every single story, every single episode so much. This was when I was really getting into it. Started buying Doctor Who monthly, never missing it. I think I've been doing that for a little while, but I was becoming obsessed with the show.
Yeah, you must have been a little bit ahead of me, because I started getting the first story I got on video, like bootleg obviously, was what's it called again? Resurrection of the Daleks. Right, it was more the Colin Baker era, which was shit, like insanely shit. That I feel the same way about the season 2023. I love it.
I remember seeing the TV spot for this, where you remember on BBC One they used to say, and tonight on BBC One we start with the news at 6:00. Then it's Doctor Who at 7, and they'd show a little clip. And I remember in the clip for that evening, for when Arc of Infinity was starting, the Doctor says, Nissa says, "What's that flashing light?" or something, and you look on the console, and there's a pyramid that glows on the console,
like uncomfortably.
Yeah, and he says, "We're being summoned back to Gallifrey." And I remember that I just got goosebumps at that when I was a kid, and seeing Gallifrey for the first time for me, I just loved it. And Omega, who I'd seen the Three Doctors a couple of years earlier on the Five Faces season, so I knew who he was. So for me, it was just Doctor Who opening right up. I was relieved that Tegan was back, because she was my favourite character and she'd gone. And so yeah, this is my era. This is that period of Doctor Who which I cannot be objective about, really.
I hear it. Oh God. The other thing is the bizarre special effects, right, of them in the Matrix. 1 second, let me find this.
When he's sort of wobbling like this. And
it's like 1 second, let me see if I can find him. It was like episode 3, like episode 4. They're mostly running up and down the streets in Amsterdam, right? But man, it's so sad. It could have been really good.
I remember that obviously it was on in the new year as well, New Year 1983, and it was quite a cold
January,
winter.
Right? Oh my God!
Yeah, it was a very cold winter. So I remember
Time Lords is redonkulous, right? Like and they really improved it by the time they did the 5 Doctors, which wasn't far off that bit of Maxwell magic.
Having said that set that Maxwell was on, that's not dissimilar from the set in Deadly Assassin.
Right.
We shall talk when you are ready to listen.
So, but he looks awful, and then Tegan shows up, and it's even worse. Oh, here we go.
Everything I can to stop you.
Then I am forced to persuade you.
Tegan.
A friend of yours, Doctor.
So I think they're sitting on chairs. And they're shot at a weird angle. But again, I think the design for Omega is really clever, right? Like something we hadn't seen before. I think that really works.
It does look like something he is wearing because he has to, rather than that he wants to. Like it's keeping him together.
Well, there was a thing they said in the making of the documentary. Look, I did a lot of work on watching this. That they had these servo motors in his mask that would move to the sound of his voice, but they made so much noise he couldn't hear anybody, nor could the mic pick up the sound of him talking because there was too much noise over the servo motors. So all the bits at the bottom were supposed to go move or something, which would have been pretty cool.
Yeah, that would have been great. Yeah, no, I didn't.
Now, listen, this one was not the greatest triumph in the season, right? And then I honestly goes to the snake dance. Man, snake dance is fantastic. Yeah, man. But yeah, this one is for Dan, right? And Dan deserves it, baby.
I was mate. It's been like 5 years since the last Peter Davison season on Blu-ray. I did deserve this. I've been waiting patiently for this, and
I agree with you.
In fact,
apparently the rumor mill says it's season 15 next. Have you heard that?
For the last 18 months, I've been hearing season 16. So it's I think it's one of the two. It's clearly a Tom Baker set. But then again, we do know that they're some way into working on 3 box sets, because obviously they had all that time where they didn't release anything, but they continued working on the feature.
Right.
Apparently there are 3.
I know they're doing a black and white one as well. They got they keep talking about, was it Fraser Hines went on did some documentary stuff?
I couldn't tell you. It wouldn't surprise me. My view of it is I generally don't care what we get next or when we get it.
They're all excellent. Honestly, this range is uniformly excellent, right? It hasn't had a duffer in it yet. My name's Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.